Welcome back to Cosmic Kickback, the galaxy's favorite talk show. We talking all things movies, TV shows, comics, and all that nerd shit. My name is Josh. With me, as always, is my co-host Nick.
What's up, everybody?
Nick, we got a great episode this week. We're going to be talking about the recently released Marvel movie, The Thunderbolts. But before we get into that, we're going to let you tell us some news. And of course, anyone that wants to just jump around, I think we'll have time stamps in the description wherever you're at. So if you want to just jump right into the review, you can do that. But me, I got to wait for Nick and his news. So Nick, what you got?
We got a lot of stuff happened since the last time we did an episode. I will start off with some pretty hot news. First off, GTA 6 is a game everyone's been anticipating for like over a decade now.
Oh God.
This game got delayed. It doesn't even matter what the old date was, but it's coming out May 26th of 2026, and we even got a new trailer. We got a second trailer for this.
We did. I did watch the trailer. It looks like it's still all like cinematic stuff. I don't think we've seen any real gameplay yet. I could be wrong. Did you spot any gameplay looking stuff in that?
Nah, it also just looked like a cinematic trailer. We kind of just got more of the story. Like it looks like Jason is the main dude. He's like breaking his girl out of jail.
No, I think she just gets released.
Oh yeah, I guess he waited for her, bro. That's true love.
Hey, as long as he better have stayed faithful while she was inside, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, in the trailer, all these girls are like gawking at him.
Really?
They're like, ooh, Jason. Like, dude's just like bench pressing on the beach.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm excited for the game. The objective is to just survive until May 2026, bro. I'm hyped for this game. The only thing I'm scared about is the file size. I think I'm actually gonna have to like dead ass get a separate hard drive just for this game.
Well, one thing that's interesting is the console like lifespan is typically like around 6-7 years. By the time this comes out, it will have been 6 years since the PlayStation 5 dropped. Mm-hmm. And the same for the Xbox Series S and X. So, I mean, I guess that leads to the question, like, is this going to be like a launch title for a new console? Or is it going to be, I mean, I assume it would be on both if they did do that, but that's kind of, that kind of sucks, I guess, for them. Cause I mean, I think that's why it's taken so long for this to come out. Because when they were developing, they were probably like back on the PS4, and then they're like constantly getting new like upgrades to systems. So then they're probably developing on the PS5 and the Xbox, and then they're probably like, oh shit, like now a new thing coming out. And you know, like developers always get like the advanced models so they can like begin to work on the new like hardware. So I don't know. I'm wondering if it's already going to be time to like buy the PS6, bro.
Dude, honestly, that just means I'm gonna have to spend even more money when this game comes out.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's gonna be either on the PlayStation Pro, which I know came out like last year.
Yeah, like late last year.
That's like already gonna be over $500. I think that honestly that console is probably like $600. It's something crazy, and then I'm gonna have to spend like $80 or $90 on GTA 6, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the game's probably gonna be like, I guess, $80 standard, kind of nuts. Jesus, man. I mean, not even speaking on all that though. Like, I kind of thought this was gonna get delayed, just because we'd only seen like a very short snippet trailer sometime last year, I think, and the original release date was like late this year, like 2025, but as we were like entering the first like 4 to 5 months of 2025, I was like already beginning to think like, oh, if this like game is supposed to come out like, I don't know, 5 months from now, they don't have pre-orders up, we've seen no gameplay. I already was like thinking like, nah, bro, there's no way this comes out this year.
Dude, I don't know why too. I keep seeing like Grand Theft Auto 5 like DLC updates just constantly coming. Like they're trying to keep that game alive. Like, bro, like just work on 6. Who cares about 5, bro?
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I think the story looks cool. I like the little like Bonnie and Clyde looking like thing they're doing, where it's like a guy and a girl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I saw a lot of people like commenting on Lucia's ass.
Dude. No, I did too. They're like, I just want to go to the strip club and have like, I want to see Lucia's ass in first person. I'm like, dog.
I saw someone say something like, "Oh, like the game took this long because they were having to get down the like butt jiggle physics to a science." And they're like, I can tell that they got it down.
I mean, they're probably, let's be real, there probably was a team of devs like working on that.
I mean, probably because, I mean, we saw the trailer.
Dude, they're doing a good job.
I saw someone say something nuts where they said, moment I load up the game, I'm making Lucia naked. And I'm just like, what?
Bro. Dude, like, bro, there's some insane gooners out there, bro. Like, you're waiting for a game to look at some fucking fake chick naked. Like, bro, get out there and touch some grass, please. Good God.
Yeah, hey,
all right.
I will be playing.
I'll be playing too. I'm excited for this game. I like GTA. It's a cool franchise. I'm excited, and it's in Vice City too. The map. I'm honestly surprised to see how big it is. Mm-hmm. Those load times gonna be crazy.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, moving on to the next piece of news. DC Studios recently announced that its Sergeant Rock movie that was in development is pretty much canceled. This is actually news to me. I didn't find this out until you sent it to me. Wow. But attached to the movie was Daniel Craig, and then Colin Farrell was also attached to play a soldier, to play the character. But it seems like they just kind of canceled it. It sucks because I actually was excited for it when I first heard Daniel Craig was attached to the project, but I don't know. Maybe DC is trying to focus on some other stuff, more, I guess, well-known projects. I know that Clayface movie is going to be filming. Mm-hmm. I know the Batman 2 has also gone through some like production halts, I guess. I don't want to say issues. It's just taking time to cook. We've talked about this, but this movie's no longer happening. It sucks. I think Luca Guadagnino, he was set to direct. He did Challengers. He did Queer. Mm-hmm. And there was also someone that was writing the script. I don't have his name here, but what do you think, Josh? Were you hyped for this in any way?
I don't know much about Sergeant Rock, but I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I've never heard this character. I don't give a fuck about this. Because, like, nobody knew. I mean, people knew, but, like, the general public did not know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were when that film was made. And, I mean, now that's, like, some people's favorite Marvel movie of all time. You know, like, you don't need to have well-known characters to make a good movie. So, like, I actually kind of think I like going into a movie not knowing much about a character. So, like, I thought this sounded interesting. I wonder, it might be, I don't know, maybe they have too much stuff and they kind of, maybe it's trying to save money. This is kind of, I don't know. But as recording this, though, this is kind of nuts. Like, this legit dropped within the hour. A news article by Deadline, new report says that the project has not been canceled for now. Rather, the DC Universe film was initially set to film in August of this year. However, due to their filming window pushing into the winter months, those in charge made the call to delay production until next summer in order to ensure favorable conditions while filming outdoor scenes. So it might be this was reported wrong, and it might be just delayed. This article just dropped within the hour of recording this. I just opened Twitter and I saw this. So,
I mean, shoot.
So I guess it ain't canceled.
I mean, that sounds good then. That I guess they gotta wait for. They're probably filming it here in America. I'm assuming it's gonna be because I know Sergeant Rock is like a soldier, so it's probably gonna be like flashbacks to like World War II, whatever. I really don't know that much about the character, but I mean, I'm excited to see Daniel Craig in the DCU. I don't know, how much of a role he's going to play in it, but that's good that they waited because I know it is expensive to film a movie. Mm-hmm. It costs like hundreds of millions of dollars if you're spending that much amount of money. It's crazy. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. I think I feel like another reason maybe it was just delayed too is because James Gunn is still like Superman's coming out later this year. He definitely is trying to like establish a whole new like universe of heroes, which I think Superman's going to do a really good job of. We have so many heroes already lined up in that movie, but I think maybe Gunn just wants to establish like this is the world we're in. These are like the main heroes. Here's Batman. here's Superman, the Flash, Wonder Woman, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he can kind of get into the weird like little heroes and side projects that other people maybe care about or really diehard DC comic fans care about. But hey, I'm glad it's not canceled. So it's in the works.
Yeah, it's just it's on pause right now, yeah.
It's on pause. All right. Next piece of news. We got recently this is actually 2 weeks ago. I didn't see this trailer until like yesterday, but we have a trailer officially for Dan Trachtenberg's Predator Badlands. This is the director who did Prey. The trailer was only like a minute and a half. So we got a new look, fresh new look at all the visuals, stuff like that. This is our first official look outside of like concept posters and stuff. What do you think, Josh?
I think it looks pretty solid. I can't tell too much about this right now based on the trailer. The most interesting thing to me is that it looks like what's that actress's name? The blonde hair girl, like is it like Ellie Fanning? Is that her name? I don't know, I could be wrong.
I think she's in it, yeah.
But like that girl that they show in the show, her eyes go white, and I'm pretty sure like that's like the kind of android they have from like the Alien franchise. So it's like, I think this is like confirming. Well, I mean, we already knew that in sometimes these universes are the same and sometimes they're not. But I guess that's pretty cool to see like confirmation in the trailer that I guess these are gearing up to cross over at some point, because we just got Alien Romulus not too long ago. So it's kind of cool. I think it's like, what is it? Wayland Imani or Wayland Enterprises, something like that. Yutani, yeah. That company from Alien, I think that's the android kind of thing we're seeing. So that's kind of interesting to see in this film. I wonder, I don't know. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he's gonna blend like the different like stories and lore, because there's a lot that's like, I mean, there's so many Alien films. Some are bad, some are good. Recently we've had some good ones. Prey was really good. So it's like the past two, new franchise entries have been solid. I hope that they're able to pull off the story, by blending like these androids from the Alien franchise. We got this Predator that we're following. We were talking about it before. It looks like his face is a bit more like expressive, because normally in Predator movies, they got masks on, or they kind of just, got like that alien head. The only time their face really moves is when they're screaming and like their little teeth move out and stuff. But it looks like we're following like a younger alien, because even like the design of his head and stuff, it looks like he's got to be like, I don't know how Predator's age or whatever, but it looks like he's a younger alien. Doesn't have his mask on and stuff. I'm assuming maybe like he's just chilling on his planet, and then like the aliens come and just like start messing his home up. So I mean, that'd be a pretty cool perspective, honestly, the alien hunting the Predator, and then he kind of has to rise up. But I'm excited for this movie. I absolutely loved Prey. I think it deserved a theatrical release out of, a lot of the movies that came out in 2022. But that was a crazy year. So when this movie comes out, it comes out November 7th, I believe. I'm going to be seated, because this is actually coming out in theaters, and we got to show out.
Yeah, I agree. Because they should have released Prey in theaters, but they didn't. Kind of pretty dumb. But let me read you the synopsis for it. It says, cast out from its clan, an alien hunter and an unlikely ally embark on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary. There you go, Nick.
I just want to see some blood. I just want to see some insane kills, bro.
Yeah, I think the Predator design looks a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hate though. I'm gonna give it time, because I know this is still months out. So they're gonna lock in with the VFX and stuff. So I'm sure it'll look even better in the final product. But I do, like you said earlier, I do think it looks like they're kind of tweaking the design a bit to kind of make the Predator more expressive, since it looks like the Predator will be, I guess, our protagonist for the film. Most of the time they're the villain, and we're trying to kill that thing. But I think if you want to have the Predator be the protagonist, we have to be able to read emotions on their face to kind of like know what they're thinking and stuff like that. And I think in the one shot we get, the Predator looks a bit worried before it kind of like pushes its eyebrows down and it looks more locked in.
He's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
locked in. I've never described a predator as locked in.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But
Oh
no,
my
yeah,
God.
I will be seated for sure because I really liked Prey.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like just both sides of the franchise, like Alien and Predator, that sometimes they overlap. It's one and the same. Just show out for this movie and help it like have a really good theatrical debut. Because I feel like it's gonna be like pretty much what Alien Romulus was for the franchise. Like if people show out for this movie, it does really well in the box offices. Then they're probably gonna make more that actually come out to theaters and just don't go straight to streaming on Hulu.
Oh God.
And I hope that happens, man. We need more Predator and Alien movies, good ones. All right, next piece of news. This was actually also new to me as well. Ryan Reynolds is exploring the ideas for a Deadpool and X-Men movie following the huge success of Deadpool and Wolverine that came out last year. That broke records. I remember it was like the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, which is insane. So Ryan Reynolds is, trying to pen together a script and some ideas of what he could do. It looks like the movie is going to feature like 3 or 4 X-Men characters. This isn't really surprising though, honestly, because I know recently they announced the cast of Avengers Doomsday, which is the next Avengers movie that's coming out following Fantastic Four First Steps. I don't believe Deadpool is going to be in that movie because they showed a bunch of like chairs of all the cast and stuff, and Fantastic Four is in there. Spoiler alert: Thunderbolts was also in there. Sam Wilson, Captain America, was also in there. A couple other characters, but Deadpool wasn't in there. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. I don't know if he's going to maybe pull up for a little bit and then be like, nah, fuck this, and then he just dips. But I mean, I'd love to see Deadpool interact with like the more modern, Fox franchise X-Men. We kind of saw that a bit in Deadpool 2. And of course, we saw a lot of it in Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw Channing Tatum as Gambit. We saw, I mean, that was pretty much it. Oh, I guess we saw, was that really it? No way that we just saw him, bro. I guess
Who?
we saw the other X-Men that pull up in Deadpool and Wolverine. I guess we saw Magneto's I'm sorry, Charles's sister, but she ain't really an X-Men.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was only, there was a lot of like, if you count the villains, like there was a couple.
Yeah,
like,
I'm talking more like Jean Grey, Cyclops, like Nightcrawler. Beast,
I guess the
like
only ones we saw
X-Men
were like Wolverine, X-23,
yeah, Wolverine,
Gambit, and I guess
that's it.
Well, this says that he's been toying around and writing treatments for a film that would feature 3 or 4 members of the X-Men, and then Deadpool would kind of just like be more of a side character for this one, because I think he has gone on record saying that he does not want to make Deadpool 4.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
he'll be like a supporting character pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think Deadpool might work better as a side character. Like, I know a lot of people really like him, and these movies did very well. But if I'm keeping it real, I think the last one did so well because we got Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, which I never thought we would get, and he's finally in the costume, and we're finally seeing Deadpool and him like interact with MCU people. So like, I think that was a big selling point, more so than Deadpool himself. Not that he's like not a good Deadpool, but I don't know, bro. I think you could only do so much with like Deadpool by himself. I think him pairing him with more X-Men is a good idea. Ryan Reynolds says he is yet to pitch this idea to the studio though. So this isn't confirmed. This is just like, we know he's like, toying with the idea.
He's cooking.
Yeah, so, but I mean, if Marvel's smart, they'll like help him develop this and find a way to make this work, because I mean, I think Deadpool and Wolverine is like what now the top grossing R-rated movie of all time. Like,
yeah,
so that made a ton of money. Yeah. So they'll definitely help develop this, I'm sure.
I wonder if, I don't know if Hugh Jackman would come back, because like obviously him coming back for Deadpool and Wolverine was super special. I feel like that was also a really big selling point. I remember when the movie was coming out, people were saying like, oh my God, this is going to save the MCU. It kind of did. Like, it kind of brought a lot of people back to like, man, these movies can be really fun. They don't got to be taken super seriously. But I agree. I feel like a lot of the Deadpool movies work the best when he's, you know, riffing off of other characters and like bouncing off of, you know, the chemistry between like a group. A lot of people don't like Deadpool 2. I think that movie is so funny. Maybe not as good as the first one, but I just think it's funny in terms of him working like within a team. I think they call themselves X-Force or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be interested to see what Ryan Reynolds does. I'm not sure how much longer he's gonna be Deadpool or play him. Because I know he's getting up there. I think he's like maybe 47 or 48, and Hugh Jackman's like 55 or something like that. But I mean, shit, they could do something to maybe make Deadpool be like in the MCU for a while. They could honestly have another actor be him in the suit and just have Ryan Reynolds like talk over, like voiceover.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm sure they do that for like all the action scenes anyway.
Yeah. Or honestly, like maybe even they have like in My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Actually, never mind. That would not work. I finished that show. It's such a good show. I don't think Deadpool would work as like an animated like crossover and that shit. He'd be too foul mouthed. It wouldn't work, bro. Daredevil pulled up in that show, and that worked totally.
Well, the thing that's interesting is like if this does keep going through, if this film idea goes through, since it's primarily an X-Men film with Deadpool as a supporting character, I imagine it would have to be PG-13. Like, I don't think they would make this R just because Deadpool's a side character. Maybe if it was his movie, they'd make it R. But the fact that it's primarily an X-Men movie with Deadpool there, I think this would have to be rated PG-13. So they would have to do, I don't know, they'd have to get creative with it. I think they can get meta with him censoring himself, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like they yeah, so
like he just can't cuss or something, and he's like, "What the?"
Yeah, something like that, you know. But hey, I mean, I'm excited. I do want to see more X-Men and more Deadpool in the MCU before they.
Yeah.
I think we will after this next Avengers. Well, for sure, we know we're getting a lot of the old ass unks in the next Avengers movie.
Bro, we're getting freaking oh my god, we're getting Ian McKellen and freaking Charles Xavier. Why am I blanking on his name, bro? What is his name?
Oh my god,
this is disrespectful.
Yeah, you're crazy, Nick. It's kind of nuts.
Bro, what? Who plays Professor? It's gonna be something. Patrick Stewart. God damn.
Yeah, go ahead and log off, Nick. That's crazy.
All right, I'll see you later. We're also getting James Marsden, who played Cyclops, which actually was a surprise. Sorry, I know we're like switching straight to like Doomsday casting, but I was surprised to actually see some of the X-Men were coming back for Doomsday. But
I mean, hey, while we're talking on that, there's a piece of news. I chose to not talk about this because it's so small. I didn't think it was worth mentioning, but since we were on the topic, they have confirmed that. Oh, hang on, let me do the same thing as you. Pull up the actor's name.
Yeah, you're not ready.
They have confirmed that as I scroll. What's her name? The actress who played Mystique in the original X-Men films before they switched.
Wait, Jennifer Lawrence?
No. Before they switched to Jennifer Lawrence. Ain't no one give a fuck about her, bro.
Dude, what do you mean?
Bro, I mean, they're not bringing her ass back. They're bringing back the OG, bro. Why would we settle for the new when we can get the OG, bro?
Bro, but Jennifer Lawrence is, I was gonna say bad. She's, you know what? Hey, she's
Rebecca
bad, right?
Rebecca Romijn was the original Mystique in the first ones, and we already know she's coming back. But here's the news that they confirmed. Her Mystique will not be naked in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, I won't lie. The design of Mystique has always been weird because, like, yeah, she straight up is just like in a latex suit with like pretty much naked, bro.
I mean, she is naked. In the context of this film, she's not wearing clothes.
Yeah,
like, in universe.
I mean, what are they gonna? Well, actually, hold up. There's probably a bunch of costume ideas they could pull from the comics, like a little. I don't know.
Well, I mean Mystique isn't naked in the comics. She's like she wears an outfit.
She's a shapeshifter, right? Like she just be changing clothes. I get why
she can shapeshift into clothes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that seems like the right move, bro. I think when they did it, like in the X-Men series, like the OG one, they were kind of just like, shit, like this is like the early comic book era. We could just do whatever. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, they
But,
saw the cast. They're like, oh shit, we got Rebecca Ramon. Hold on, let me change the fit.
yeah, let's give her something respectable.
I mean, yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I don't even remember what how we got here. I don't remember what the original.
We were talking about Deadpool and X-Men.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, I'm all for more X-Men. So let's lock
I'm excited because especially when we heard that we weren't going to get X-Men content for like a couple years after, like the MCU ended, and we already got Deadpool and Wolverine, and now they're pulling up in Doomsday. I mean, we'll see. I think that's actually filming. It's going to start filming soon this summer.
What is?
So, Doomsday.
It's already filming, my brother.
Oh, well, shit. They better lock in, bro.
I think it started filming like maybe a week or two ago.
Oh, okay. Well, dude, the only thing I'm disappointed is I know Spider-Man's not pulling up.
I mean, we don't really know that cast list reveal thing they did. That's not everybody that's in the movie. That's just who they decided to like announce. Yeah, because
Ant-Man's pulling up too.
Immediately after they did that, Robert Downey Jr. made a post, like a big, long, like panoramic picture or whatever. He scrolled through and had some things, and then he said like, "Oh, like this is the cast list," and then he tagged like Marvel Studios, and he's just like, "Oh, but like is this everyone though?" Question mark. And then they commented and they were like, "Oh, like there's always room for more," or like, "Oh," or like something like that. They kind of just teased like that there are more people,
Bro, boy, no way.
Because like, I mean, if they don't put Spider-Man in it, that just doesn't make sense considering his popularity.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's always a chance that he's not, just because of the whole Sony deal, and you know how Sony is. So I guess there always is a chance that maybe he won't be.
Dude, Sony sucks, bro. They just need to like be like, look, we will give you like 40% of the profits from. No, that's insane. They got to work out some type of deal where like he can just pull up in the movies because they clearly cannot handle the Spider-Verse, bro. Madam Web deserves a Razzie, bro, for the worst movie that they put out. I haven't seen oh goddamn, I can't even think about it. Kraven the Hunter. Maybe I'll watch it later today. It's on streaming. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson, bro.
Go watch it, bro.
Dude, okay, we'll talk about it.
All right, Nick, what's next on the news?
That's pretty much all the news. The last piece of news I had that I guess we can talk about is Jeremy Renner. I actually saw this clip that you were referring to. He was speaking on his pay cut that he got for Hawkeye season 2, which, if I'm being real, I didn't know that they were moving forward with a season 2.
I mean, as they should.
I mean, I did like the first one. I know when we reviewed it, we said, it actually was a pretty surprising show. It came out during Christmas. We got Pizza the Dog. We got Kate Bishop, which is really cool. It was a pretty good show. But, I mean, I'm thinking, like, what more could they do with Hawkeye? Because the main antagonist of that show was Kingpin. He's going to be all tied up pretty much with Daredevil Born Again season 2, which is already filming, which looks great, by the way. Holy shit. I love the costumes that they're going with that season. But Jeremy Renner was pretty much talking about how he got a huge pay cut.
It was like 50% cut, like half of what he got.
I saw he was saying like normally he was making like something crazy like 70K or something. I don't know if that
I don't know if I didn't see any like numbers.
I'll get the exact numbers.
I didn't see that. All I saw is there was like a quote where he said something like, oh, like, do you think you could offer me half because like I'm half of the Jeremy Renner after I got ran over or something like that.
Oh my god, bro.
Dude was cooking with that line.
Honestly, he got them gagged.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think he actually has a good point. Like, I don't think it's like crazy to ask for the same amount you were paid for like the last one. Like, I think he was even saying that like it's like 7 or 8 months of like shooting for this. So it's like, if he's gonna be there for 7 or 8 months shoot for this, it's gonna take that long, and he's getting half the money for like, he said that it was like half the money for like twice the work or something. That it's like, brother, like, it's honestly kind of nuts because he's one of the original Avengers and they're like lowballing his ass.
Yeah, dude, he is pretty much like, you can say whatever the fuck you want about Hawkeye. That first Avengers movie in 2012 did so much, bro, for team up movies, and like in a way, like he's kind of like a founding member of like the
Yeah.
MCU, bro. Like he pulled up in the first Thor. Like he pulled up before a couple other characters were even introduced. Like, I mean, we saw Black Widow obviously and Iron Man and stuff, but he was one of the early on characters that we got introduced to, and then we saw him in a team up movie.
I mean, hey, yeah. I think he said something like, "Oh, this isn't Marvel." He's like, "It's the like higher ups, like the suits at Disney or something." I don't know. Which, like, I guess that makes sense. Maybe they're trying to save a buck.
Yeah, that
but
makes more sense because I feel like if he was sat down talking with Feige, and I'm reading this article here, it says that Jeremy Renner, you know, he obviously still loves the character and he hasn't ruled out not returning to any future projects because he said he still loves the characters, he loves the character, he loves the fans, and he'd only return, I guess, under terms that reflect his value and, you know, what he's contributed to the MCU. But I couldn't see Feige like just throwing this dude to the curb. Like, I know Disney acquired Marvel like a while ago. Disney makes so many other movies and so much shit, dude. So I can understand why they would just start cutting like oh, Hawkeye, dude. Like, let's forget about that, dude. Let's focus on, you know, making Snow White. Like, I don't know. It really sucks because, like I said, movies are super expensive to make. Sometimes you just make the wrong movie. Sometimes you spend way too much money on a movie, and then that just affects other areas of the business.
I agree.
It's pretty brutal. But I would love to see Hawkeye come back in some capacity. I know I was just shit talking about season 2 of Hawkeye, but I wouldn't mind seeing it, dude. If Kate Bishop comes back, it's more of him like training her and stuff, or just, you know, a fun adventure maybe in New York or maybe even somewhere different, you know, like in DC or California. I'd be down to see it. I like Jeremy Renner.
Well, apparently I think it's still moving forward just with like only with Haley Steinfeld. So like, I mean, I guess that could still work. I mean, I feel like it's possible that they could, because of this going public, it could be like a negotiation tactic from Jeremy Renner, because if the fans are like, oh, like what the fuck, like, you know, like, I think it could kind of pressure them to, yeah, it could kind of pressure them to give him what he was paid. I mean, because like I feel like I feel like I kind of agree with him. It's like if I was paid something for the first season and then they're making another one and they want me back, but they are offering me half of what I was paid for the first, why would I do that? Like, maybe if he's only in like one episode, but it doesn't sound like that's the case, because he was saying that it's like a full like 7 month, like 8 month shoot. So it's like, and like this ain't just like for a movie either. Like a movie is like 2 hours, 2.5 maybe. This is like a season of a show. This would be like what, minimum 8 episodes, so like 7-8 hours of content. Like this is like a big shoot. So I don't know. I if they still make it, I'll be hyped because they got Haley Steinfeld and I like her. But I mean,
yeah, I
would like to see the OG as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there is a lot of time as well. Like you're away from your family, you're shooting. Obviously he's recovered from that snowmobile accident, but it's like, damn, like I got to do all these stunts and stuff. It's a lot of work. So it's like you should get paid at least the bare minimum what you got paid the first season.
Yeah.
It's just very odd.
Hey, well, hopefully he'll come.
Yo, pause. Them young boys. All right. Let's move on to the Thunderbolts. This movie is it's actually surprising, you know, how good it is. I was really excited for this movie when it was, actually, I wasn't excited when it was announced because I was like, all right, what is this? It's a bunch of like C, D tier villains and stuff teaming up. But this movie was a genuine surprise. It's doing really well. It started with a $76 million debut domestically at the box office, which is really strong. It's directed by Jake Schreier, who has done some music videos. He's directed Paper Towns. I don't know if you've heard of that film.
That's the one with Cara Delevingne, right?
Yeah, he did Robot and Frank.
Okay.
That sounds pretty cool. He also helped direct some episodes of Beef, which I saw that came out 2 years ago, and I really liked that show.
Oh yeah, I heard some of the writers from Beef were actually working on this film as well.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like this movie has like a lot of like little A24 like tidbits like sprinkled out with it.
Yeah, I mean,
in the promotion they dropped like this really cool like modern trailer with like cool edits and stuff, and it did not feel at all like a Marvel trailer, and that caught a lot of people's eye.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere recently that trailer was made as a joke, but then when Kevin Feige saw it, he was like, "Oh wait, this is actually good. Like, yeah, let's use it."
Yeah, I like that. I like when they reinvent like ways to promote their movies and stuff because like trailers. I feel like nowadays have gotten, I don't want to say stale, but they're pretty like cookie cutter.
Hmm.
So to do something different and like catch people's eyes, especially for a Marvel movie that's like this long ongoing cinematic universe, I think was a really good move marketing wise.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I think for me, like honestly, I think the trailers once they started coming out, they they got me more excited for this film because I think all the trailers for this and the posters are very good. Like they all look very good.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think like despite that though, when I thought about the team members, I kind of had that thought of like all like how is this a team? They all do the same thing. They're all just like guns and shooting and flips and fighting. Like besides like one character, pretty much. I think Ghost. She's like the only one, and
She
then
got
like
some cool powers.
yeah, and then I know they introduced Sentry, but like it was like it was kind of like I was kind of just like why are is this team even a thing? But I will say after seeing the film, and I won't say like why, we'll save that for spoilers, but I 100% think that this team, like the lineup of people in here, 100% makes sense given the context of the film. And I think that it's like, I don't think they could have picked anybody else actually to be on the Thunderbolts. Like, I think it makes sense. I think it works. And yeah, I really liked this film.
You want to do a non-spoiler really quick, like 5 minutes?
I mean, I think we should because like this film just came out like as filming this like
Thursday.
it's been almost a week. We saw this last Thursday. We saw it opening night. We're recording this on Wednesday.
Yup.
So yeah, we could do a little non-spoiler before we get
Yeah.
into it because I think there's definitely some stuff you can spoil in this. One thing that's kind of I think we can talk in spoilers about this, but one thing that's kind of weird to me is it seems like Marvel themselves is kind of spoiling the movie a bit. Did you see that?
Dude, are you talking? It hasn't even been a week, and they're already
Yeah.
like putting posters up of the new title because obviously there's an asterisk in this,
Yeah.
which I will say you called way back
Yep.
before when we were speaking about this movie. That the title was obviously the asterisk is like, oh, like it's a working title. It's not the official title. The
Well, yeah,
asterisk is like
yeah.
it's like a note. It's a little thing that you put where it's like
Subject to change.
it could change, subject to change. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that actually is true by the end of the movie. And honestly, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but the title of this movie changes by the end.
Yeah.
And maybe if
And
you go online and you're not avoiding spoilers, you could see it. But
yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Even if you are avoiding spoilers, like you'll probably see this because even
yeah,
the official like Marvel Studios like social medias with Kevin Feige, all of them, even the Thunderbolts social media themselves, they have all since then um they've like posted promotion with the new title. um that's kind of nuts to me because it isn't like it's like a significant part of the film, but it happens at the very end, so it's kind of like it doesn't matter that much, I guess. Like it doesn't really affect anything that happens beforehand. Excuse me. But I don't know. I just think it's kind of odd because they didn't even wait like a week. They waited like
dude, they should have waited a week, like max 10 days, bro. Because people, there's two types of people. There's people that go to Marvel film like us. Like we're obviously because we have the movie podcast. Even if we didn't, I think we would be there opening night regardless, just because we
yeah.
like the MCU and we've been following it for a while. And you've probably been going to see like, did you see Avengers in theaters? You did, yeah. You said right. You saw the first Avengers in
I
theaters.
did,
But
yeah.
I've been going to the premieres with you guys since like Doctor Strange, so that's like nearly like 8-9 years now. So it's kind of become a tradition. But the other group of people is people that wait, especially now since after Endgame that the MCU has kind of just been shaky. There's hits and misses. So people are like, all right, let me see what people are saying about this new Marvel movie. Then let me go like maybe a week after like the whole opening weekend. And for them to like do something like this just feels, I don't want to say like out of character, but it feels weird like in terms of a marketing movie. Maybe they're trying to do it to get more people to go. I don't know why they would do that because this movie seems to be doing pretty well already for itself. I think that it's hopefully going to just keep, going. I know that films drop after the second week, but yeah, it does feel weird they didn't wait a while, at least a week, bro. I feel like it happened like 2 or 3 days after the movie. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm in the know, so I don't really care. But I'm like, what about other people that are like still on the fence about seeing this? They're probably like, wait, hold up, what? Like, why'd the name change?
I think it started like, I think Sunday is when I saw it. So that's like 2 days after the first official release, like Friday. Yeah. I would have waited, I guess, I don't know how long, maybe like you days, said, maybe like 10 days. So like give them 2 weekends, but I think I get it. I think it's like, I think all of the big fans that were going to see it no matter what, like you said, they go opening weekend. And then after that, it's like, some big fans that might see it a second time, because I know I'm going to see it a second time just because like I think it was like pretty good and I'd like to watch it again, but also because my parents like to like see the film sometime, and Carla, my girlfriend, did not go with us. She was not able to go opening day with us, so she hasn't seen it either. So like I'm like, oh, like I got an excuse to see it again, but I don't mind seeing it again. This is one of the ones where I'm like, oh hell yeah, like I'll see this again. But
it's worth the rewatch for
sure. Yeah, but I do think when we get into spoilers and like we say what the real title of this film is, like I do think that would attract some of the people that are more on the fence on seeing it, because like not many people know what the Thunderbolts are. And like I think when you see the title of the new trailer or the new movie title, I think people that are like that are gonna see it and be like, oh wait, like, oh okay, like I'm more intrigued now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think because so I think it's a smart move. I think it's a cool like meta kind of thing. But it's like good marketing, but I just kind of disagree with how soon they did it, because like some big fans might have not been able to see it opening weekend, like they may have just like had work or life or some stuff going on, and they're like
in the military. I feel like Omar just saw it. Our friend Omar, he's in the military, he's overseas, and I think I saw him post like a photo of him going to see it maybe like 2 days ago. I know that dude's on TikTok like me and stuff, so he probably saw already that they announced that, but
yeah, that's true. Yeah, see, so like I'd be a little annoyed if I was like, one of those, because I know Omar's a big fan of Marvel too. Yeah, so,
dude, if he was here, he would be at opening night with us.
Yeah, so like I imagine that he or people like him that couldn't go opening weekend and that see the title reveal, I think that's probably a little annoying. But anyway,
depends on how much you care. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just in a way it is a weird marketing tactic to pull off.
I think it works. I think it's good marketing. I like the asterisks. I think it's cool, but I think they just did it a little too soon. We'll talk more on spoilers like about what the actual title is. But for now, just to like wrap up this non-spoiler thing, I think 100% you should go and see this, even if you have seen what the title is. I think this film has much more substance than I expected it to have. Like, I don't want to be like one of those people that says oh, like Marvel has like become dog shit, because I don't think it really has. I think there are definitely some that are kind of lacking in the like recent like 5-6 years or however long it's been since Endgame. There are definitely some misses, but I think that this one is, I mean, I know people have said this before, but like this really does feel, and for me more so than any of the other recent releases, it feels like a return to I think what a lot of people wanted from the MCU. It really feels like it's a part of that universe. It feels like it has a lot of connective tissue to other like areas in the MCU, which I think a lot of people were missing, because we did get a lot of solo content like Moon Knight, which I mean I like Moon Knight. I like introducing new people, but I do think a lot of people were missing the connective layers of the MCU, the thing that made it the MCU, like it leads into something, stuff happens that affects the universe. So it's like I think it really does a good job with all that. I think all of the characters are really good. I think Florence Pugh is like insane. I think she's probably, I was already thinking this, but this movie just kind of confirms it. I think she's my favorite Black Widow. Like I love Scarlett Johansson But I think I prefer Yelena, her Black Widow, more, at least in this universe, because like I think she's more likable. I think she seems more like a real person. I don't know, like layers. I mean, they like Black Widow, like Scarlett Johansson, and this is nothing against her herself. I think she could have done the same thing. I think it's just like the way that they wrote her and like presented her. Like they took years for her to get her own film, and she didn't really become like likable or like a person until like Endgame when they decided to kill her. So they were like, oh, you know what? Like we need her to be more likable. Let's make her more likable and then we'll kill her. But like this, her sister, like this Black Widow, I really like her. I think she's like probably one of my favorite characters right now, which when they introduced her, I 100% did not expect, you know, I did not think like I'd be saying like, oh, this is one of my favorite characters, but I mean, she is. I think they all do a really good job. Sentry is really cool. I like his, I think his actor like does a good performance, like on like all the ways you can play Sentry. I guess get into more of that in spoilers, but yeah, basically I think you should go see this. I think this is not what you'd expect it to be. It's not just a typical action MCU espionage film. It's not really that at all. It's more of like a dysfunctional like family like dealing with their problems together. And I think it actually like works very well, like more than I'd expect. So yeah, this is 100% go see it in theaters while you can.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just to piggyback off of what you said, Florence Pugh is like the soul of this movie. She does a really good job as the lead. I feel like the action pieces in this were really entertaining. The dialogue, I don't think at any point felt like, you know, off or cringing to me. And not that it ever has in MCU movies, but I know that it can kind of feel like stifled at times, like, you know, characters talking to each other. But in this film, it actually flowed really well. And that's why it surprised me, because when this film was first announced, I was like, man, how are all these random characters that we've seen from other projects just gonna like, you know, work together and interact? But it works. It works in the story, and they end up, you know, having to team up against a common threat. And this film actually also feels like it has a core theme, which I think, you know, MCU movie or not, I think is really important for any movie. And I think that really just drives home, you know, the idea that it's trying to put out there, and also the final act. And yeah, everybody just does their job. It's really awesome. Definitely go see this movie in theaters. I would even, you know, go as far to say it's worth seeing twice, or maybe even buying on disc, on physical. And
oh God,
it's just a good movie. It's fire. Thunderbolts. Go see it. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, anyone that's still here, like, we better go spoil on God. So if you're still here, dip, go watch the film, and then come back. And if you don't care, you should care. All right, you ready, Nick?
I'm ready.
All right, so I mean, I guess we could just start with the spoiler that they spoiled themselves. I mean, the film is the new Avengers.
Damn, it's not the Thunderbolts.
What do you think of the new Avengers? What did you think of that reveal in the film, and what did you think of? I guess we can go back into Marvel spoiling that.
I thought it was pretty cool, I guess, how they did it, like in the movie, in the context, not the marketing, because to talk about the final act of the movie, and we'll jump around, I guess, how everything plays out. But Valentina, who, goddamn, what did she show up in first? Valentina, was she in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Hang on, let me think. I can. Oh, was it Falcon? No, wait. Shit, that's a good question. Was it that? Because she did pull up at the end, and she talked to John Walker, and she said that they need like a U.S. agent, like, oh, like, and she's like, oh, like the U.S. needs an agent or some shit like that, like, because he's U.S. agent.
It's such a basic. Yeah, she pulled up in the miniseries Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Is that the first time? Was that really her first appearance?
Yeah. Then she also pulled up at the post credit of Black Panther. It seems like that.
Well, she's not just the post credit. She was a character in that film. Like, she was in the movie.
Yeah.
She was in Wakanda Forever. What else is she in? I know we're missing one. I know we're missing. Nah, she's been in like a couple like little. She appeared in Secret Invasion, that dog shit.
Oh, we don't talk about that, bro.
No. I think wasn't she in Black Widow? Like the post credit scene of Black Widow?
I think she was because it shows like later on. I think like post Endgame after like Black Widow's dead and she's kind of just Yelena's there visiting her grave and she pulls up and she's like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. Okay, but basically, like they've kind of laid down the groundwork for her, and she's kind of just like, I guess, like a reverse Nick Fury. She's like trying to like assemble these people to kind of do her dirty work for her. Yeah, the story, like, I guess, is pretty simple if you think about it. Like she's getting like sued by the government or something for like doing. She's trying to get like, you know,
well, she's getting impeached because she's like the CIA director somehow. I don't fucking know how they made her the CIA director, but she's done like a bunch of shady stuff. There's this research facility, I think that's somewhere in like
New Mexico.
New Mexico or Las Vegas. It's somewhere in the desert. Mm-hmm. She sends Ghost there. She sends Yelena. We see Special Agent also go there.
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. John Walker goes there, and then Taskmaster, who honestly has one of the best arcs in the whole movie. Oh my god! They all get sent to this facility pretty much under the pretense that they're going to do a mission, but they've all pretty much been sent there to kill each other. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's trying to wash her hands of all this dirt, get rid of the evidence, you know, conveniently, as well as the mercenaries that she's hired to do all this shady crap in this lab. And there's a really cool fight sequence that goes on like for a couple of minutes. The fight sequences in this movie, I think, are really awesome. And also just the action pieces. You know, I think a lot of it is because they shot in camera practical effects. When at the very beginning of the movie, Florence Pugh like literally parachutes off of the Burj Khalifa. They did that for real. They showed some of behind the scenes of that. That was really cool to see. But yeah, they all fight inside of this facility. It's really cool. Taskmaster gets fucking one-shotted. And yeah, and then they all kind of just start the Fortnite sound plays when you go down. It's like doo-doo-doo. They're all chilling in this facility pretty much, and then they're like, oh shit, like Valentina actually set us up against each other. And this is where they kind of start like working together.
Yeah, so like, I mean, let's talk on Taskmaster real quick. I think everyone knew Taskmaster was gonna be.
Bro, yeah, when I saw the trailers and there's that cut where they're like walking into the tower, I was like, all right, where's Taskmaster?
Well, Taskmaster is there, like in the trailer. There's a shot where they're there, and they edited Taskmaster into it.
Yeah, they did the fake out. Because I was like, there's no way that she makes it this far in the movie, bro.
Well, like I expected her to die. I did not expect her to die in the most like mundane, like they just basically forget about her like so fast. Like she's shot and then she's dead, and like that's basically it.
I will say, Yelena does feel like a little bit not remorseful, but she feels like sad that she does die because, you know, like in the 2021 the Black Widow movie, she is a Black Widow that was essentially turned into like she's a victim pretty much.
Yeah,
that becomes like, you know, Taskmaster. So it was nice to see like her kind of feel bad a little bit, like she knew like she had a hard past, but you know everyone else doesn't give a shit.
I mean, yeah, she does say that at like one point, but then like that's like the only time they like really reference it.
Like, oh shit.
But like I think it's like, I don't know. I think that if I can think of anything in this film to like say I didn't like, I low-key don't think I like the way they killed her, because like although it was kind of like abrupt and like shocking in a way, like how fast it happens, I don't think it has much of an effect because of the fact that afterwards it's just kind of an afterthought. Like besides that one line of dialogue that happens like 20 minutes later and then she's never mentioned again, really. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like, because they said that someone said this, I read this somewhere, that the reason why they killed off Taskmaster was so that people, it can be shocking and people can think that, oh, any of these people can die at any time. But I never really felt that way after she was dead. I felt like everyone else was chilling like after that, you know what I mean?
Because I feel like obviously the biggest threat was Sentry.
Yeah.
He gets introduced into this scene where they're all fighting. Bob is his name. What's his name? Like Robert Reynolds. Mm-hmm. He's essentially this project that Valentina put him through to try to become like this new Superman. They thought that he had died like a lot of the other test subjects, but it actually works. He kind of works with the new Avengers for a little bit. And yeah, I thought it was weird because Taskmaster only dies when they're all kind of pitted against each other, and you see like how crazy they all can go, at each other and shit. Bro, John Walker like whoops Taskmaster's ass, dude. I actually forgot for a second that he took the serum like after his buddy died in the show. So like when he's throwing her around and shit, I'm like, damn, like this is just a normal human.
Oh hell no.
But yeah, like Taskmaster dies obviously at the hands of Ghost, which I will say that surprised me that she killed him. But if they made it more like Taskmaster made it further in the movie, and then when they're all taking on Sentry later on, he just like freaking crushes her like face or something, and it's like, oh shit, like he could actually kill them, and then they all run away in the elevator. I'd be like, okay, this is actually kind of getting like the stakes are kind of getting high. I don't know how they would have like they could have done it. They could have written Taskmaster like better in a way that she wants to work with them and stuff. They escape the facility, and then they they meet up with Valentina and fight Sentry together. But yeah, it does feel like a waste. But I know that the Taskmaster that was introduced in Black Widow is not, what's his name, like something Mercs, like what's the actual name of the actual Taskmaster from the comics?
I mean, I don't know what the actual one is, like the name of the one in the comics is, but I mean, like this is like the one that we got, so it's like this is still Taskmaster.
Tony Masters, that's what it is.
So like, I mean, I don't give a fuck that it's like not Tony Masters. I think this still could have been like a good Taskmaster, but like if we're keeping it real, like there could have been I was gonna say there's almost like no Taskmaster fans, like real fans. Like Taskmaster is like a cool visually looking character, but he's never been like oh my god, this is my favorite character. Like if there's probably like under 100 people that think that. Like I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
So like anyone that complains about like this like Taskmaster, like they're like, oh, they wasted Taskmaster. It's like, bro, like you're not a Taskmaster fan, bro.
But dude, if you can bring back a character like Ghost and give her a little bit of depth, like why can't you do the same thing with Taskmaster, who came out? I mean, no,
I'm not saying they couldn't. I think they could have. I actually think that the original script probably did. I think I saw someone at the original script. This was written more as like a kind of like sequel to Black Widow, and it like followed like Yelena and Taskmaster. But I don't know how far along that version got. I don't know. I do think I'm fine with them killing Taskmaster because like what is Taskmaster like really gonna do in the current MCU? Like regardless on if it's the one from the comics or the MCU version, like what are they really gonna do in the grand scheme of the MCU currently? Like they ain't gonna do shit against Doctor Doom. Like you know what I mean? Like they're the way that the universe is going. I don't care that they killed her. I think I more so care about the way it happened. I think it was kind of abrupt and like, oh, like that's it.
Well, I do why think the fuck wasn't her mask bulletproof, bruh?
Hey, bro, that's how it be. Well, like I think that I was thinking the same thing. Like maybe like Sentry could have killed her later in the film. Because Sentry at first is like kind of with them as they escape. But then Sentry gets captured again, and then Valentina kind of convinces him to be the Sentry and like kind of feeds his wants to be needed. And gives him the suit and all that. And then he's kind of against the rest of the Thunderbolts. They have like a cool little action scene where they all try and take him on, but of course none of them can do anything to him. I really like that scene.
What's Alexi gonna do with the goddamn knife? Like you see Bucky shoot him with like these 2 miniguns, and then he stops the bullets, dead ass, and then throws them back in Bucky's direction. And then Red Guardian just pulls a knife and he's like, oh, like what are you gonna do, bro? I mean, I gotta give it to him. He's got guts, but like holy shit. When he threw him out the window, I actually thought he was dead.
Oh, like, I was like, oh my god, are they about to kill him? No. Like, I actually did think for a second there, like, whoa, what are they about to do? But he pulled his head back in. But like, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe they could have killed Taskmaster in that scene. But I mean, and I wonder if they had a version where that did happen. because
Yeah, there
but
has to be a version.
I think because like when I think about it, I'm like, okay, like that would have been more shocking, I think. But at the same time, I think it's like, okay, like is he redeemable after that? Because what happens is because like the way what we see in the film, he doesn't technically kill anybody. When the
No.
void thing happens and he starts like obliterating people into like shadows, he's not actually like, it's revealed that he's not actually like killing these people. It's more so like this darkness void is kind of like taking them to this, taking them to like some like area that is in some other world, like I don't know, like some void
Yeah.
like world, and they just kind of have to deal with their like darkest like trauma. um and it just kind of spreads over New York, so everybody gets put into that void and they're all dealing with that, and they kind of have to like get him to like retake over control of like his body, because there's like the Sentry side and the void side, and the void is kind of taking over. So but it's revealed after they do that that everyone kind of like comes back and they're all like good, so he didn't kill anybody. So I wonder if that's why they didn't, they if they did do that, or if they didn't, the reason why they didn't is maybe because they were like, oh, if we have him like just destroy Taskmaster, like kill her, can we redeem him? Because at the end, you know, they all kind of like console him and are there for
Yeah.
him, you know? So like, can you still do that and have it work the same and have the same message if he just fucking brutally murdered one of their friends, you know?
Taskmaster had it hard, bro. Shit. I get what you're saying.
You know, like I think that's probably why they
Yeah,
didn't do that.
that definitely kind of would have like tampered with the message of the movie, because like obviously the very like core theme of this movie is mental health. At least like, you know, being depressed and stuff. There's a scene that Yelena has with her dad in the very beginning where she kind of just talks how, you know, she hasn't been doing really well, you know, since her sisters passed away, and then later on in the climax when they're saving people and they can't really fight off Sentry and the void and all this shit that he's doing. You know, Yelena's like, you know, I've been really depressed. Like, I go home and I just be chilling. Like, I look at my phone, I think about all the bad shit that I did, and I definitely feel like Sentry and the void are you know, one and the same coin. One's meant to represent like, you know, being optimistic, being hopeful. I guess kind of being like an angel, and then the void is like giving into those impulses of like anger and you know, rage and I guess the darkness in a person, and it works really well. I think that the fact that they use that character to kind of represent and drive home that message worked really well. And I do like, I don't want to say that this is a complaint that I had for the movie, but I guess the final act, instead of it kind of being a battle, you know, on the streets, there is a sequence where they kind of save people, which was really cool to see all these heroes actually try to help people when, you know, all their pasts are very controversial and they've killed people for money and stuff like that. They end up essentially going inside of, you know, Bob's mind. They enter the void and they have to try to find him, and they find him in this room. You know, he's in his attic, I think, and you can see like his father being super abusive and stuff, and you can see how his upbringing kind of affected, I guess, how the Sentry or the Void Serum. I don't exactly know how he got the powers, but I guess because Bob had a really like, you know, troubled home life and stuff, after getting the powers, it kind of amplified those feelings inside of him. But yeah, they pretty much have to save him from like himself. And I really like how the message is, you know, they actually come together as a family and try to save him at the end. It's not really a big fight on the streets of New York, how like Avengers is, but it's more kind of like inside of his head. They have to try to find him and get him out of there, out of that deep dark place, and they have to do it together. So I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool. It kind of subverted my expectations, because you know, when I first saw the trailer for this, I'm like, bro, what the fuck are these people gonna do to stop this thing? Like, I didn't know what the Void was, but I'm like, he is straight up flattening people into freaking silhouettes on the street. Like, there's no way that they're gonna defeat him. And the way that the film does it subverted my expectations in a good way.
Yeah, I agree
It
completely.
does feel like the film is over 2 hours for sure, but it does feel like it's not missing like a third act, but it's like maybe half of a third act, because it happens pretty quick. You know, like they go into the void, they save him in maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, and then, you know, they're back on the streets. Valentina, you actually think that they catch her, but then she has this whole press crew ready because she already had them ready, when Sentry was put together and he fought them to essentially introduce them as the new Avengers.
Yeah.
That bitch is sneaky, bruh.
Well, like I actually don't think I disagree with you, Nick. I don't think the third act is like 5 minutes. I think it's like, I think if you count the moment that Yelena walks into the void and then she deals with like her trauma before finding Bob in there and then talking to him, and then the rest of them pull up and they kind of all make their way through all of his traumatic events until they get to that last one where they find the void and then they have that whole little scene. I think all of that is probably about, I'd say more like, no, not half an hour. I'd say like maybe 15 minutes, I'd guess, which, I mean, that is, I guess you could say that is still short for a third act, but I think, I don't think it overstays its welcome. I don't think it understays it either. And to speak more on what you were saying about the Sentry, to explain him to you, and then also to the audience, if anyone does not know who Sentry is or is still a little confused on what he can and cannot do, he could basically do anything you could imagine. He's an extremely overpowered character, but his character, like Bob, like Robert Reynolds, he basically is bipolar. So the bipolar is supposed to be like, oh, there's the Sentry side and there's the Void side, and it's supposed to be kind of like an allegory of sorts for that, for bipolar, and it's supposed to be like, oh, the Sentry side and the Void side kind of balance each other out. So for whatever he does as Sentry, as the good side where he's kind of more in control of his power, at some point the Void is going to have to like come out and balance that. So he can't really only use Sentry, because then Void is going to have to balance it out. So that's why at the end of the film, in the post-credit scene, he's kind of just like vibing. He's like, oh, I don't, I can't really use it unless like the Void will come out again. Like, it's kind of like, that's how that works. One thing I thought they were going to do, because they kind of like started talking about the Avengers at one point, in the comics. And I think, Nick, we talked about this afterwards and we were all hanging out, after we saw the film, but I have a better understanding of it now, because I went back and I looked into it, but in the introduction to Sentry, there's this pretty cool like I guess like meta thing, and they could have done it with this, but I understand why they didn't. It might have been too much, but man, it would have been so cool. So in the comics, when Sentry is first introduced, excuse me, when he's first introduced, there's like this reveal where he was actually like one of the original Avengers, and he's been there the whole time, but everybody forgot about him and his existence and who he is, because he himself wiped everyone's minds, like kind of including himself, just so that he can protect everybody from the potential like damage that the Void can cause, because he knows that if he does anything as Sentry, then Void will have to like balance it out, and he can't control that. So it's revealed that even though like, of course, like Sentry wasn't created until like, I don't know when, like the 90s or early 2000s. I don't know when he was created. I know it was later than like a lot of the other heroes though. So when they had this kind of retcon almost, where it's like, oh, he's actually always been there, and they had like these panels of him, and it has like shots of like classic art, but like he's there too, and it's like, oh, I remember, like I've seen that art of the Avengers from this old issue from the 60s, and it's like, oh, and I remember they did this in Infinity Gauntlet in this comic, but he was there, and it's like, of course he wasn't actually there because he wasn't created yet, but within the context of in the universe, he realized that it would be safer for everybody, and himself included, to protect them from the Void if he just wiped everyone's mind that of any memory of him ever existing, including himself, like knowing that he has the Sentry power, and everyone just kind of goes on like with their life. So I thought for a moment they were gonna like have some sort of like thing where it's like, oh, like
Battle of New York,
like he was actually there, like, oh, he was here too, and like, like, but I think I think they chose not to do that because that would have been a lot to drop, you know, and like,
Yeah.
you know, I get why they didn't do it, but like that's something that happens in the comics, and it's like it's probably one of his most well known like feats that he's done.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded to see that. That actually would have been cool because it's like obviously he gets introduced into this movie the first time, and you know Valentina is actually surprised that he actually survived the whole process of him getting these powers. But you know, obviously they changed it in the movie Century. The Void gets created in this film. But if that happens, you know, I wouldn't have been mad at it. I would have been like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. I guess it might have worked with like his powers. But speaking on his design, what did you think of the Century, the Void design?
The Void I think is really cool. I love how it's just like
Bro,
this like black
holy
abyss with just like little like white reflections
like
on his eyes.
eyes.
Yeah. Oh
It's
my
scary
god.
as shit,
I
dude.
think it looks really good. I think
He looks like a sleep paralysis demon.
yeah, I really like the design for the Void. I also I think that the Sentry suit works. I think the fact that like Valentina kind of like made this manufactured superhero, so it's like she made this like design and she made it all yellow and has all these like
Bright
lines on it.
blue.
Yeah, I
He dyes
think
his hair too.
yeah, I think it works within the context. I think it very much looks like the kind of suit that someone like her would design.
Yeah. I thought it was really good too. I was surprised that I know Torn, I was sitting next to Torn, he was hyped, bro. We got the OG Sentry suit, bro.
Dude locked in.
Um Speaking, I guess I know we just talked about the final act, but yeah, it doesn't feel as short as I'm making it out to be. I know that we see Elena kind of deal with her trauma like firsthand. And then we see her go get Bob, and then the other Thunderbolts kind of just show up out of nowhere. I maybe would have liked to see more of, I guess, what their trauma is. Like, we know obviously a lot of shit that Bucky's done. Like, dude probably has a shitty, terrible, terrible past. And we saw a little bit of Bob slash Sentry's powers. Like, in the film, John Walker's like touching hands with him after they get out of the elevator. That huge elevator shaft, and we see a little bit of John Walker's past and stuff, how he's going through a divorce. I would have maybe liked to see, you know, like what like Red Guardian's past look like, maybe a little bit of what Ghost's past look like. You know, it wouldn't have to be super long scenes, but just them going through the Void after going after Yelena. I guess it makes it more surprising when they show up out of nowhere to help her, but to see them kind of like navigating their trauma, because it seems like we touched on every person of the team. Except for this just couple. You know, we got Walker, we got Yelena, we got Bob's backstory, but everyone else kind of just comes out of nowhere, which, you know, obviously it's more for a surprise factor. But I would have liked to maybe see what their rooms of trauma would have looked like. It would have been interesting to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Take or add anything away from the movie. I'm fine without it. I just think it maybe would have made a more intense and like stretched out like final act. You know, they could have had like everyone, you know, dealing with their trauma with all these separate rooms and stuff, and then, you know, finally they burst through and they get through to Bob. It would have been cool, but I'm totally fine with the way it happened. I actually love how when we see where the Void was made and you see him like kind of just chilling there in the lab. I love how you can see like the silhouettes on the wall from like the first people he freaking sent into the Void. Yeah. That was freaking cool. I actually noticed that when Yelena breaks into that tower for the first time and you see like the lab. But I like how Yelena's like chasing him down and you see like the hallway like stretch and she's jumping over all these different things flying in the room. That was a really cool action sequence. Honestly, a lot of the action sequences in this film are really well done. Like when Bucky comes to you know, quote unquote rescue them, when they're getting chased down in the desert and Red Guardian picks him up in his limo. Dude, that scene gave off such Terminator Judgment Day vibes. Like he's riding a motorcycle. He's got like that. He has the same gun actually from the Winter Soldier. It's like a mine gun, but you can shoot it and it's like magnetic.
Yeah.
But that was really cool to see Bucky pull up in the movie. Up until that point, he's working as like a congressman or something, or is he running for mayor? There's no way this dude is that deep in politics. Okay, how did this dude get elected, bro? Like he's a war criminal, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of. I was making a joke about that. I don't know if I mentioned it in one of our episodes before, but like in Brave New World, I think they mention it that he's like running for congressman whenever that film takes place, and in this one he like is the newly elected congressman. I think it's kind of funny that one like scene where he they
getting
like
like
ask him a
interviewed.
question and he doesn't know what to say. He's not like, like he doesn't do this. So I thought that was
He's like,
funny.
this is a very urgent matter, and we're treating it very urgently.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
doesn't know how to do shit.
it
That
was
was funny.
funny.
Yeah.
I actually, speaking on the comedy, I think there's like a lot of funny lines in this. Like it's a Marvel movie, so of course there's like comedy in it. but I think that it's actually not too much. Like a lot of people are always saying like, oh my god, Marvel always undercuts serious moments with comedy. I don't think they do that in this one, and there were a lot of moments where they could have. I think it was actually probably one of the most balanced films in terms of like where they chose to like have comedic parts at, and I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that they had writers from Beef, which has a lot of serious dramatic moments, but also like has
Dark
comedy in it
comedy.
as well. Yeah, exactly. And I think that comes through in this. I think it's very well written. I think that, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I agree with you about wishing we could have seen what the other members of the Thunderbolts, like what their trauma
Yeah,
rooms
I wanted
were.
to see what Ghost went through because I know
Oh
that
yeah,
she was probably experimented on to get to that point. Because in Ant-Man and the Wasp,
and we do
she
see
doesn't want to
that.
be. Yeah, we see a little bit of it. Maybe I wanted to see more, but
I mean, we literally see her dad die in a flashback in that one when she's a kid, and then
yeah,
we see that she can like never feel like a human's touch
forgot
for
about that.
years. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, we have seen a lot of these people's flashbacks in other films, especially Bucky. So
Yeah,
I think for him, he's the exception where I'm kind of like, oh, I don't mind
I don't need to see
not
all that.
seeing his, because like we already know like all of it. We know like so much about it. We've seen it in so many different films. I actually think it's kind of funny how when they so I think there's a line where they ask him like, oh, like how did you get through your like the trauma room or whatever, and then he's just like, oh, like my life's been like perfect, like it was easy or something
Like
like
I have a
that.
great past.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I thought that was funny. That was a good
God,
one. But
but
like I do kind of agree with you. Like I think for maybe like, I guess Red Guardian, maybe we could have seen like a little bit of something. I don't know
yeah,
what they could have
something.
done. But like I mean, we did already kind of see John Walker's earlier in the film, so I don't really,
Yeah.
you
Well, yeah,
know.
that's what I like how it happened when you see like first Yelena and Bob are like touching hands after the door explodes. You see her like in that room, or it's not the room, but you see her flashback of where she has her first like test where she has to kill her friend. And then it happens to John Walker later. I liked how that was happening, and obviously they get separated from Sentry, so that can't really happen again. But I did like how that was sprinkled out to the film, where you're like, whoa, like does this dude have like telepathic like abilities or something? Like it was trippy to see it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? I guess obviously they're the new Avengers, but the way that they get the name Thunderbolts is not from Thunderbolt Ross
That's a good
putting the
question.
team
Yeah.
together.
That's a good
the The
yeah.
way that it's explained in the movie is pretty much Red Guardian comes up with the name because Yelena had a soccer team that she was a part of, and they were called the Thunderbolts. And he's like, yeah, like we're a team, just like your soccer team. I thought it was kind of funny. It actually plays a part in like the final act. They call themselves the Thunderbolts because of the soccer team, and after they're getting their ass whooped by Sentry, Elena's kind of like, oh, we can't do this, we can't work as a team. Like I'm such a bad person. And Red Guardian, he says something along the lines of like, oh, when you were on the soccer team, you wanted to be the goalie, not because you didn't have to run as much, but you wanted to like be the teammate that your team could rely on if they messed up. And that was a really cool moment. Like I really like the moments between Red Guardian and Yelena. Like I feel like that's definitely where the heart of the film hits the most, because she is the central character. And I feel like the way that they worked around it, not, obviously Thunderbolt Ross is locked up in some prison in DC, but I think that it actually worked pretty well, even though it might have just been like a silly, like one-off joke. Like they're called after a soccer team.
Yeah. I think they could have done either one. I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
But I think the one they chose, making it different from like it being called the Thunderbolts because of Thunderbolt Ross, I think it maybe works better with like the theme of the film, because it like, it references Yelena's childhood. There's that good like interaction between her and Red Guardian where he talks about, the goalie, like you said, and the soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of funny because I think that it first gets mentioned when I think Lelena tells something to John Walker and Ghost, like one of her old stories, and they show it early in the beginning of the film when she visits him. So they introduce it because she sees the picture up at his apartment or his house or whatever. So it kind of introduces the idea of it early. And then she mentions it to them, and then I think John Walker says it as a joke, like later on. And then Red Guardian's like, oh yeah, like the Thunderbolts, like your team or whatever, and he gets hype about it and he wants to like keep it. But I do think there was probably a draft of this film where it was potentially going to be connected to Thunderbolt Ross in some way, because there's a trailer where like he said, like Red Guardian says, we're the Thunderbolts, and then they all say no, and then Bucky says we can't call ourselves that. And like, given the context of the soccer team, I don't know why Bucky would say we can't call ourselves that, because it's like, I mean, it's a soccer team. Yeah, it's not in the movie. They cut that, but that's in a trailer. So it's like, I think at some point they might have been, maybe like they had two versions, they filmed both and they were gonna go but then I think they switched it. I think it works for like I said, for the themes of the film better than the other one. The other one would have just been like maybe I don't know, like I mean, because like Thunderbolt
maybe
Ross,
maybe Valentina's like, oh, like Thunderbolt Ross is I don't know, put you all together for this task. I don't know how it would have worked, but
I don't know. It was different.
I could see why Bucky's like, we can't call ourselves that. That dude hulked out. Like,
yeah, exactly. So like, I think it was originally, or at least there was two versions they filmed, and then they ended up going with this one, which, although it's different from like the comics, I don't mind the change at all. Given like the themes of the film, I think it works better and it makes a more cohesive story.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it worked really well. And like, just it ties back to the film's theme, and like you said, it is kind of set up early on when they meet at Alexi's apartment in the very beginning. All right, well, let's move on to, I think that's the whole review. I guess if I'm gonna rate this movie, I'm feeling a strong 4 out of 5. This movie is very, very, very enjoyable. It surprised me. I'm really excited to see them in Doomsday. I guess, I really don't have a lot of complaints. We talked about, I guess, how Taskmaster was a little bit wasted. Mm-hmm. The final act, while it isn't super fast nor anticlimactic in any way, it would have been cool to maybe see some of the other trauma rooms, for the other characters, that, or at least Alexi or Ghost, because we hadn't seen Ghost's, I guess, backstory since Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out like 6-7 years ago.
Shit, more than that, bro.
Didn't it come out like 2018?
I think it came out 2017 or 18.
It might have been right before Avengers.
It was before Endgame.
Yeah, that's right. It was
before. Yeah, it was between.
I'm feeling strong 4 out of 5 out of this. That's what I rated on Letterboxd. It's really good. Definitely go see this movie. And yeah, give the rating, Josh, so we can jump into the post-credit scenes.
I'm in agreement with you. I think this is a 4 out of 5 for me. I think for it to be a 4.5 or even a 5, like, I would have had to have like no complaints whatsoever. I would have had to be, I don't know, like, I think this could have, I mean, obviously, I think any film has potential to be like 5 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5 or whatever. Not that this is bad. I think 4 out of 5 is extremely like solid. I think that this is good. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, we had a little bit of like nitpicks about, I guess, the Taskmaster, the way she was killed, I think maybe was a bit anticlimactic, and kind of it didn't feel like what they said they were trying to accomplish, where it was like, oh, anybody can die, I didn't feel that way after she died. I feel like I could have maybe felt that way if it was handled differently. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a nitpick, but beyond that, I think this is one of the better MCU films, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it surprised me, because when this was announced, I don't want to say that I wasn't. Well, I guess I wasn't really excited for it, because I was like, it's a lot of, it's like Ghost, Taskmaster. I was excited Red Guardian and Yelena were in this, and Bucky was pulling up, and so was US Agent. But it surprised me what they were able to do with this. The story seems very tight. I love how it has a theme. The dialogue feels, natural between these people. And it actually feels like, near the end, when they find out Valentina's like constantly switching plans and stuff. First she wants to like use Sentry against them to kind of show like, oh, he's a hero, he's mine, and then this bitch is just plotting. But the story worked out really well, and it has a theme. The action sequences are great. And now they're the new Avengers, man. We're gonna see them in Doomsday, and you know what's gonna come next. I'm actually excited to see them work together now. You know, see villains kind of turn a new leaf and actually be heroes. Was an interesting feat.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I do really like how the asterisks came into play because I knew it had to, bro. I knew it had to.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that if they didn't.
Because like, yeah, I remember we were talking about it. I think it was the last time we talked about it before, like maybe a couple months ago. I remember you were like, "Hey, that's just the title, bro. Like that, it just looks like that." And I was just like, "Bro, like," I was like, "Dude, there's no way. Like, it's not for nothing." And hey, I do really like how they did it. I think it's really cool to see the new Avengers, and I'm excited to see how it connects in the future. And yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk at the post-credit scene because we do get a little bit of a look at that in the post-credit scene.
All right, well, the biggest one, bro. We got Alexei trying to hit on this mom inside of a grocery store. Bro, they actually have the Wheaties box. The Thunderbolts Wheaties box is actually canon in the movie, bro. Yeah, there's a little funny scene where he's trying to hit on this chick, but besides that one, the one that's actually hidden is we go. Do we flash forward like 12 months later or something?
I think it's 14 months.
15?
14,
so it's like
bro.
A whole 14, bro. So it's a while. It's definitely over a year now that they've been.
Yeah, a little bit
Avengers.
over a year. Yeah.
We see them chilling in the Avengers Tower. Everybody's there. I actually love the new looks and costumes everybody has. Everyone seems to have like new hairstyles, new like costumes and stuff. Bob is chilling there. You know, he can't really do much because he's Sentry. Then we get a distress signal from space. And, you know, who would have thought? It's the Fantastic Four.
Yes, sir. I mean, I kind of got that reveal spoiled for me by the credits, the music. Did you get that as well?
Yeah, bro. We were literally sitting there watching the credits, and then it's like Fantastic Four theme.
Yeah, and like, I was like, wait, what? Like they didn't use that in the film, and then I was just like, oh my god.
I get why they have to do that because it's in the movie, but maybe they should have just kept that out.
I mean, I don't know. I guess legally, like they couldn't. So I guess I mean, I gave our friend Mike a heads up because he saw this like the day after us. I was like, yo, when you're watching the credits, as soon as you see like the credits for the songs that are used come up, I was like, just look down and do not look back up until like the scene starts. Because I was like, I said there's a song that spoils something. It doesn't really spoil it that bad. Like I think it's still like you don't see like anything crazy. You basically just see like a ship in the sky, and before you even see the ship, like I feel like most of us know what it is. Like if you're
the next movie,
and which is like, I mean, I miss when they used to do that, when they used to just show something from the next movie. Like nowadays they're just showing like random like shit that never gets resolved. Like when we saw Hercules pull up at the end of Thor and Love and Thunder, like there ain't no Hercules movie coming out. I forgot about
that shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm so glad that we're finally getting a post-credit scene that's actually for the film that comes out in just a couple months that we get to see. You know, like it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but it feels like a little bit rewarding, I guess, to like be like, oh shit, like, oh yeah, I know that, and then I go and watch that. You know, like that's cool. I like that, and we don't. We learn a little bit. I think this is actually, I saw it's like almost 3 minutes long. So I think it's actually the longest post-credit scene like in like the MCU.
Yeah, and the Russos actually directed this.
Yeah, they directed it. I think it was like a couple months back. And it was like it was on set of, because they're filming Doomsday right now.
God, dude, these guys are gonna cook, bro. I actually forgot for a quick minute that they were directing this, bro.
Yeah, so they filmed it while like on set for that, I think, or like during like, you know, when they were setting up and all that, which is cool. And it's all we see some new looks of all of the characters. I think Bucky's new look looks really cool.
Bro, his hair is so bad, dude. It looks so good. I'm not bad in the bad, but like, I mean, he looks bad.
You say he looked like a baddie?
Yeah, dude, he looks like a baddie. Bro, I like the design.
I thought, bro, you like Red Guardians, like he pulls up with the new look.
Dude, yeah, he has like a suit on or some shit.
It looks like, so dumb. And it's like
it looks like an F1 suit where it's like sponsors all over, and then he's like, look, we're the Avengers, like with a Z.
Yeah,
I can't copyright.
Yeah, because it's revealed that this is kind of, I find this a little weird, I guess, and interesting, but like I don't know why this is a thing. But I mean, we hear in Brave New World that Sam Wilson is like gonna like start forming the Avengers again. And then after the new Avengers thing happens, we hear that Sam Wilson, I guess, is copywriting like the Avengers name. So he's like, oh no, y'all cannot be the Avengers. So I'm like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, why would he not just be like, oh yeah, like you and the Avengers? You know, like why is Sam Wilson, you know, like doing that? Yeah.
Well, he knows Bucky too. Like,
yeah, exactly. One thing that's kind of funny is the official Avengers social medias have added like a copyright symbol next to the name.
Oh my gosh!
Like really? in real life, yeah. If you go look up Avengers on Instagram, you'll see the copyright symbol. It's kind of funny meta thing. I think. Oh, are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. But I when I think more about it, I think it's probably because one reveal we got in this film was that because we knew back in Homecoming, which came out in what, like 2017. We knew back then that Avengers Tower was being sold, but we kept being like, who was buying this thing?
Yeah,
it is finally revealed, like years later, that Valentina is the one who bought it.
Bruh.
So it's like, it's not that crazy of a reveal. I think people were expecting like, oh, maybe it's Norman Osborn of this universe. Maybe it's
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Maybe it's Wilson Fisk. Maybe it's, you know,
it's like the new Avengers Tower.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it makes a little bit of sense because it's like if Valentino wants to make a team or like be like a superhero thing, and I do like how like you think she's about to get caught, and at first I was kind of like, no way, this bitch getting away again.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because like I said, she first invites the Thunderbolts upstairs to the Avengers Tower, and then her plan is to have Sentry beat them on the streets, and she's like, there's press downstairs like waiting to see the new Sentry, so it's like it makes sense they're already there. She's dude, that bitch is so sneaky, bro.
Well, like what I like about it is even though she was like she had the press set up and she's like, oh look, it's the new Avengers, the team that I assembled, even though she was trying to kill them. I like that she's like, oh yeah, look, it's them, like the new Avengers. And I like how Yelena like says like, oh, like we own you now, because like they know all her secrets. So even though I think they all, especially Yelena, she wanted to be like in the public face. She wanted to be like the new Black Widow. She was like, oh, I want to like feel like a hero, you know? And I think now that they're all getting that chance to be on the new Avengers, it's kind of like, it's like, okay, like we'll do this because we kind of want to, but if you like, you can't control us kind of thing. Like, even though you're here and you're like, I guess the person who gets the glory for setting up this team, it's like you can't control us because we can at any point say, oh, you know what, actually, like this is what happened, and like all of us can attest to that.
Like, oh, the Void, yeah, she did that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was cool, and I think that that's probably why Sam Wilson is doing the whole like bullshit with the Avengers thing and like not like letting not doing the copyright shit, because he probably doesn't like Valentina. And he probably like, because he met her in like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he like has an idea about her. So I imagine that's why, and he's probably like maybe a little salty that she bought Avengers Tower, and then she's like, oh, the new Avengers, and then look, it's in the Avengers Tower. Like this is, you know, he's probably like, oh hell no, like this ain't the like real Avengers.
He's salty. Bucky's on there, and he knows.
Yeah, and that's probably another thing. He's probably like, Bucky, what the fuck you doing, bro? And Bucky probably can't. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably why it's like that. But no, yeah, I think it was cool. I think this kind of confirms. I think I knew that the Fantastic Four were going to like come to the main MCU.
Yeah, their universe is fucked.
But I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know because we know Galactus is in Fantastic Four. I guess this kind of spoils a little bit, not really, but like. I guess we could kind of like chop it up to like Galactus probably wins and their universe is done, you know?
Well, dude, in the new trailer that we got, we can talk a little bit about this, but the people are like asking Reed Richards at this conference, they're like, are we safe? And the smartest man in the universe is like,
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, shit.
You got me. Yeah. So like, I guess this kind of, we don't know how yet. We'll find out in a couple months. But
I still want to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we now know that they arrive in the main MCU world before Doomsday, which I'm a little. I think that's cool. I did not know that. I did not expect that. I thought that it was gonna be more like
mid movie they pull up.
Like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be like during Doomsday, because we know that we're getting like mutants and X-Men from another world, because there's no X-Men as of now on the main MCU. Yeah, so I thought it was gonna be like multiple worlds, kind of like multiverses and different like shit kind of colliding, and they
like
all
the Flash, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
God, and then they all kind of fight Doomsday together.
Yeah,
and I thought that. Or not Doomsday, Doctor Doom, and I thought that the Fantastic Four would kind of come from their universe, and then at the end of Secret Wars and Doomsday, all of those worlds would kind of converge and turn into one universe, which would kind of set up the next phases of Marvel. But now I guess we're getting confirmation that, oh no, that's not what they're doing, which is what I actually was expecting. I thought that would be what they did. They're coming directly from there to the main MCU world, the one with Bucky and all the people that we've followed, which I think is actually more exciting. I think that's really cool.
Dude, I hate to say this because I know people shit on the MCU, but I think we're back. I think we're back, bro. The next 3 movies are Thunderbolts is good. Fantastic Four is going to be good. And then Doomsday, I was looking at the cast too. My God, dude, what's his name? Simu Liu's coming back. We're also going to be getting, obviously Chris Hemsworth is coming back. Tom Hiddleston is also going to be coming back. And, you know, the Russos are directing this. Oh, Channing Tatum is also going to be in this. I already said James Marsden. Yeah, dude, I'm excited to just see how all these people interact, because it's going to be on a different level than Infinity War, right? It's like different like universes, bro. It's Fantastic Four. We're going to have the new Avengers. We're going to have Shang-Chi. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea how Loki is going to be in this, because at the end of season 2, bro is like, he's done. Like, bro's not going anywhere. Maybe it'll be a variant. I don't know.
It's fantastic.
Dude, the end credit scene was fantastic. I'm excited for Fantastic Four. Yeah, I'm just hyped. I think the next couple movies are going to be really fire, and I think the Russo brothers are going to do great. I honestly do not care what the runtime is, bro. If it's like 3 hours, like, cool, make it 3 hours. But dude, I mean, I'll watch it, bro. Like, when else are we ever going to see something like this again? And clearly they pivoted from Kang Dynasty to this, so I just hope that it pays off and it's really well done.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm most interested to see RDJ's performance as Doom. I don't know if, I really hope they don't do a variant. I hope he just has a mask on the whole time and he does like a crazy accent.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like Victor Von Doom would be, but I'm excited. Fantastic Four comes out July, is it 4th? No way, it's 4th. I believe it's.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's like.
I think it's the 6th.
I don't remember, if I'm being honest with you.
Keep it a buck.
All I know is Superman comes out that same month, which is kind of nuts that they're both going to be competing.
And then Jurassic World Rebirth, which I know,
oh my God.
I shit on that franchise, but you cannot underestimate how many people want to see dinosaurs on screen, bro. Like, those movies, dude, the last one was shit and it broke $1 billion.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. I still haven't seen it either.
July 25th, late July.
Okay.
All right, so we still got a little bit of time, about 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, tickets are gonna go on sale for it soon. You know, within the next month, I'd imagine. Bro. So, y'all gotta be ready. We're gonna like immediately cop, like instantaneously.
We're gonna be locked in. I hope they give us something cool for the fan event. Recently, what they've given us the past 2 times for Brave New World, and this time for Thunderbolts, is like a little keychain. The keychain for Thunderbolts had a little asterisk, which was funny.
Sir.
Dude, I hope we get a poster. I liked when we get posters.
Yeah, we used to get those. I wonder, they stopped doing that, bro.
Dude, I still have my poster from when we saw Infinity War. It's like a little like 11 by 7-inch poster, maybe bigger than that, but it was a poster with everybody on it, which was really cool. I hope for Fantastic Four they do something different. If they do a keychain, like it'll probably just have a little 4 in it, like that'll be cool. But I mean, shit. Besides that, I think that's the review.
Yes, sir.
That's everything we got to say on Thunderbolts. Fantastic Four is the next MCU movie coming out. Let us know if you guys saw Thunderbolts. I hope so, and you're not listening this far. Let us know what you guys thought about the movie. Where would you rank it, I guess, in the more modern MCU post-Endgame? You guys think the MCU is back? Are you guys excited for the next movie, Fantastic Four, which is coming out? Let us know all in the comments what you think. If you want to stay updated with the news, you can follow us on Instagram, X, Threads. We're on Facebook. We also have a Discord if you guys want to ever join that. We also have our letterboxes below, which you can see what we're watching recently. Maybe get a sneak peek of what we're going to review next, and you can also see our 2025 ranked. I actually think this movie's already in my top 3, which is surprising. But I mean, I haven't seen a lot of heat, if I'm being real, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There's a lot of good stuff though that's coming out recently. I'm super hyped for summer.
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next episode, and thank you for listening.
Goodbye.